Hi, everyone. It's Lisa. I am in Seattle, Washington, where I work, and I'm on the rooftop deck. I'm going to give you guys a view of where I get to work each and every single day. It's incredible. Take a look.
Wow, that's amazing.
Today, I am in the process of just getting a lot of stuff done. I went to a training seminar last week with a group of people who are federal workers trying to create change and really innovate and bring about change in the federal government. So it was really exciting. And this week, I'm playing catch up, as it usually goes when you go out of town to work on things. So, what are you up to, Lori?
I'm really, really busy. Things are going really well here. It is so hot. Oh, people have no idea that Minneapolis, St. Paul gets as hot as it does because it's so cold in the winter. But often there's like 100, well, sometimes there's 117 degree difference between winter and summer. And it's like hot and muggy, and my hair is frizzy, but I've tried to do it so many times I just can't handle it. Anyway, um, things are going really well. I was on with a friend of mine today, a former client, Lynn Oxley, and she just got back from Baku in Azerbaijan, which is the capital. And I had a really interesting conversation with her that I wanted to share with you, Lisa, because I think you're going to be really interested in it. It is, she was talking about how she's able to work multicultural with people from all different walks of life, all different culture, all different economic and also educational levels to bring these games in. She works in the Olympic Games, and most recently, she was working to leading a team of both staff and volunteers, which is really challenging, as I know you know, Lisa, and helping them to bring together the first European Games in Azerbaijan, which is just it's amazing. So, and I'm sure you're going to be able to weigh in on how you bring these teams together and how you lead these teams. One of the things that she said that allowed her to be really successful was that in each person that she deals with, she sees a part of herself. And she remembers the time when maybe she was insecure, maybe she was abrupt, maybe she was upset. But each time she is in this situation where she's dealing with people that are having these emotions, she's thinking about how she reacted when she had those emotions, what she needed at that time that she was having those emotions, and trying to tap into those feelings in herself and what she would have needed and have had people react to. And that's how she's able to do this so successfully. What about you? What do you think about that? Isn't that amazing?
That really is spectacular, and that's a wonderful perspective because as we create, and that's again what I do, is create diversity and more importantly, inclusiveness. And I think that's really important to create inclusion is to remember a time when you were like that. Sometimes we get caught up in, oh, people should know better, or why don't they understand that? Well, depending on our backgrounds, where we grew up, how we grew up, what type of resources we had, we don't know how to do things the way the next person does them. I'm constantly amazed by what you know that I don't know. And it's impressive. So, what you can do when you're building creative and inclusive environments is instead of judging another person or treating them harshly or believing that they don't have something to bring to the table, is do exactly what we do and make the best use of the talents that those people do have, support them, honor them, and give them the opportunity to thrive. So I love what she's doing with this group of Olympians. That is fascinating. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, it really is fascinating. But before we move on, I want to tell you that I learned so much from you too, Lisa. Every time we have conversations, it's so exciting and so dynamic, and I'm learning and growing. And so this is really great. I love hanging with you. My only My only critique is that we don't do it. We don't do it enough. I mean, it would be really fun if we got to spend more time together. When we were in Morelia, it was amazing. And, you know, to be able to go to that festival with you. And when you were here, hopefully you'll be coming back soon. So thank you for that. So what I normally do in helping people, because I'm working with people, all different types of people, different cultures, different backgrounds, different businesses, different desires, different goals. What I normally try to do is to figure out how that person would best reach their goals, and then sculpture my program and the exercises within my program to their learning style, the way that they produce, their time management, their schedule, their biorhythms, and adjust how we do things to reach them and to celebrate their uniqueness. And I find that that really works well. Um, Sometimes it's a little challenging, especially if I'm working it with someone in another country, different time zone, different way of working, but I try to adapt, and I feel that I'm pretty adaptable to it. I don't usually have a problem with jet lag or waking up early or, you know, doing anything like that to meet them at the time and in their best space,
Yeah.
biologically, mentally, you know, physically in their best space. And that way, it really works well. Another thing is to adjust our environment. Often, when we adjust our environment, we adjust the way we look at things, the way we're thinking, the way we're able to think more expansively or more creatively. So that's something that works really well. And I noticed we had great opportunity to do that when we were in Mexico. We were able to really adjust our thinking and come up with really creative ideas. And sometimes what we're able to do is put our subconscious behavior patterns that may be holding us back or may be keeping us from reaching our full potential. We can kind of calm those down because our subconscious isn't as active when it's in an environment that's new. So that works. That kind of works well for people as well.
I think that's a really great idea. As often as possible, I love being in sort of an outward experience because it completely takes me away from my own personal experience and how I relate to that, and just puts me in a space where I can take in new ideas and get new creative ideas and appreciate really what I'm seeing before me. During this conference, one of the things that they brought up, they had a few diversity and inclusion workshops. And one of the things that I was really fascinated to learn is not only cultural differences, which definitely play a big impact. People from the Asian countries have a little bit different interaction relationships than other people, particularly in Mexico. This conference that I went to was predominantly a Hispanic conference, and we were kissing and hugging and just really enjoying, and definitely not all cultures are comfortable with that. So it's really important, definitely, to learn about the people that you're interacting with, what their styles are, what their belief systems are, and be respectful. We can't force others to do things the way we do. And in fact, we can learn and grow by learning their ways. But so that was one that I learned. The cultural differences are really to be aware of them and to really integrate them into how you're dealing with another person, because you would never want to offend someone else by crossing their boundaries or crossing their barriers. So study up. I'm sure there's a lot of great videos that we can come about in teaching people the fun differences in cultures. And then secondly, generational differences. Now, as I mentioned, my 9 to 5 is that I work for the federal government. And I've created this workshop and training to bring diversity and inclusion into the federal government. One of the things that I had not considered was the fact that there are generational differences. and how people communicate in the different generations is astounding, and how powerfully it affects the decisions we make, our behaviors, our belief systems, what we hold as valuable and important. My eyes were completely open. Apparently, I'm a Generation Xer, and the gentleman providing the workshop was very, very funny, but he completely nailed me to a T. I want to know the parameters of what we're doing. I want when you want it done by, and then I want you to leave me alone to get the job done. Apparently, not everyone communicates that way. One of the things that they said baby boomers like to do, and of course, these are generalizations. It never applies specifically everything to one person, but it really did help get the frame around. So for the baby boomers, which is a big portion who I deal with, they want a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they want updates in between. So as a person who likes to do things on my own and really values figuring things out as I go along, I can see where those two forms of communication would cause some issues. So now I know that I have tools, and I can even ask my supervisors or whomever that I'm dealing with that is in this category, do you want a beginning, a middle, and an end? And if so, how frequently do you want me to give you updates or information? So now it becomes not a struggle between the two of us and what we're accomplishing. It's a collaboration. Yes, there is value in giving updates and information. It helps process where you're at, correct things more quickly before going too far in the process. So it was just really, really wonderful. And of course, we spent a lot of great time talking about the new generation, which they call the Y generation, and all of the valuable input and ideas and innovation. And I see it in my own son, who's part of this. They are so innovative, thinking in ways that we can't even understand to solve problems. And this is why they're able to come up with such brilliant, helpful ideas. But guess what? Our skill set is still very valuable to them as well. So it was just really fun learning, and I'd like to implement the things that I learned in these workshops that I went to the businesses that we're doing, of helping build multicultural networks for the wine industry, for the golf industry, for small businesses that are really looking to interact, connect, and grow. It's also really valuable and important to learn these different methods of communication. As we've discussed in a former show, that if you want the Mexican market from Mexico, you're going to address them very differently than how you would address the American market. So again, fascinating information, and I hope to do a lot more work in helping our viewers see the value of this learning.
So that conference sounded great. Wow, I would have loved to have been there.
It was really neat. Plus, I had never been to Salt Lake City before. Salt Lake City is gorgeous. It's in the middle of these beautiful mountains. They're not quite mountains like my Mount Rainier right back over here, but just beautiful. And the weather was fantastic and warm, and the people were so friendly. And they have the largest growing Hispanic population of any city in the United States. So they're experiencing the greatest growth in the Hispanic market right now. So very, very interesting, and it was wonderful to be there with them.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Unbelievable. Hey, there's something I want to talk about, because I figured what we could do for the show today is talk a little bit about how we can kick it into high gear. You're right now over there, you're taking your lunchtime and you're doing this show because we haven't been able to do it because we've been jamming and running around and so busy. But I want to talk a little bit about how we can take and adjust what we're doing in such a way that we can maximize our time and maybe get to that next level, maybe move forward, maybe do something a little bit out of our comfort zone and kind of jump it up. Now it's the summer. We can really get a jump on fall, and before other people are really focusing and back at their desk and in their office, we can pull something together. So I was just reading something that I thought I wanted to share with you, because I think you're really going to like it. And I have to read it because it's a direct quote. J-Lo, this is J-Lo. She said, being successful on stage is about being in control of your fear. Fear. How much do you think fear actually holds us back?
Absolutely, 100% of what holds us back is our fear. And it's so funny that you mentioned this because I was talking about it with my husband yesterday. And actually, part of one of the things that I'm pushing myself, we all love to get comfortable. We like to do the things that we're masters at. We're very comfortable. We feel accomplished. But it's really conquering that fear that pushes us to the next level. So if you're working on a lot of projects and you need to finalize those projects, sometimes it's challenging to find what to do that's fearful, but I've upped my challenge. I'm actually going to go do an indoor skydiving event this weekend to just scare the living daylights out of myself and let go of that fear, because
You're
I do
kidding. You're going to
no,
do that
I
indoor
have
skydiving?
a lot. Yes, I have a lot on my plate, and sometimes I start to justify in my head, oh, I don't need to do that right now, or I shouldn't approach that person right now because it's not a good time. What if I get a no? And so I think I'm strategizing, but in the end, what it usually probably is my own fear of getting a no, of not getting what I want, or failing at accomplishing what I've intended. And you really have to get rid of that failure factor, because guess what? This life is to fail, and I am going to march strong, and I'm going to scream loud, and I'm going to be indoors flying. I'm going to have Bob take pictures because it's going to be hilarious. I'm sure I'm going to be screaming bloody murder.
Hey, this is not a time to fail. This is a time to succeed. When you're skydiving, you don't want to fail.
Hold
That is
on.
hysterical. I didn't even know.
It's indoor skydiving, so I'm a little bit safe, but it's certainly way outside of my comfort zone.
This is hysterical. How did you get this idea?
I just knew that I had to do something because I'm getting in that comfortable place again, and life is trotting along really well and things are clipping, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing really good. I thought, wait a minute. That is the danger zone, because that's when we allow opportunity to pass. That's when we start getting very comfortable and we start making choices that maybe aren't driving us as quickly forward as we want. And it's something simple. There's a little place that does indoor skydiving here, and it just sounds wonderful. It's affordable. It will completely, like I said, scare the bejesus out of me and really help me get over letting these limitations limit me, because I'm done being limited. I have incredible ideas. I'm really having great successes at work, and I want to keep that momentum going so I can go from where I was at to the very top, which is exactly where I want to be. Own that leadership, own that drive, and just really push myself forward.
You go, girl. You go, girl. I can't wait to see the videos.
I can't wait to share it. It will be fun and funny.
Oh, I hope Bob gets great videos of this, because
Oh, he will.
I've been looking at your videos for the last few days because we're still working on editing, and you know, the growth that you have been able to have between when we started and now, it's amazing. I just can't believe it. I've been raving about your on camera, on air presence, and your ability to just jump in there and start interviewing at any given moment in two languages. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. But this whole concept of you doing this indoor skydiving, you're totally like blown me away with this one. That's amazing.
Well, I thank you for noticing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, another thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is, you know, we are trying to constantly keep moving to the next level. We're trying to go where we've never been. And we're trying to do it sometimes in the way that we've used to get where we are. So I think it's important that not only that we're outside of our comfort zone, that we're preparing to move forward and to do the things that we want to do with our business, with our lives. We're taking risks, calculated risks, careful risk. But the next part of it is that I think is so important is for us to actually look forward and prepare to go in a direction we haven't been, using the skill set that we haven't been using. So it's not only about us moving forward, doing the things that we want to do, taking our business and our lives to that next level, kicking it up, if you will, but developing new skills or using skills that we haven't been using all the time. If we're doing that, then we truly will go to the next level. So really, why don't you take like a little inventory of your skills and write those new skills out and see which skills you really want to start developing and start utilizing more on a regular basis. The next thing that I recommend is a career highlights. What are those things that you've done? It doesn't only have to be recently, but what are the things that you've done in your life that you're proud of? And write those down, because then that's going to give you an opportunity to really look at, my nose is running here, to really look at where you might be moving forward, in the sense that you're able to assess where you've been, celebrate your successes, which then will fuel your next group of successes. So it's the system is, let's look at our skills, let's look at our new skills, get those jotted down, and figure out how we're going to start developing or enhancing or increasing those new skills. Write a list of our career highlights and our successes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take time to celebrate those successes. It doesn't have to be a huge celebration, but maybe it's just getting together with a few people and saying, hey, why don't we share the things we were successful at? In our mastermind group, we do that every 4 months, actually every 3 months. We talk about our successes from the previous 3 months, and then we also set goals for the 3 months that are coming up. And it's a great way for us to kind of benchmark our successes, and then it fuels us towards those next successes, and also gives us an opportunity to plan where we want to be and how we want to make changes in our life. So that's another thing that I would do. One way that we clearly have lost Lisa, which is sad, because I was really enjoying her and her background and her skydiving. Wow, that's amazing. Her skydiving idea. But what we really want to do is we really want to not just keep striving forward, but also to be happy about the success and the ground that we've covered. So when we're able to do that, it kind of allows us to then almost launch forward in that for our next event, our next dream. So I really like the idea of kind of encapsulating those successes and then celebrating them and moving forward. So that's what I would say to kick it into high gear, is to look at where you are and then where you want to go and move forward on it. So I hope this helps. This has been great to spend time with you, and I really enjoy it. I've missed not doing the show. I've had computer issues, as we all have. Actually, it wasn't anything I did. The computer had a internal issue, and they fixed that. So I've been up and running since then, and very busy with new business. Ms. Behave and Brittle has been very, very, very busy, and we've been experiencing quite a few successes. So that's been fun, and travel and moving forward and getting everything else and clients. You know how it is. You're wearing many hats. That's why it's important to really take inventory and celebrate what you've been doing and how well you've been doing it. So I wish you all a great week. I want you to take care, Feel free to comment and give us some ideas on what it is that you've been doing and how you've been doing it so we can help you celebrate. Take care. This has been Lauri, and Lisa's out there somewhere in Seattle trying to find her way back. Hopefully she's not on her way to skydive yet. But take care and have a good one, and let us know what your thoughts are and maybe things that you'd like to see in upcoming shows. Bye-bye now.